In this next row, we're going to chain 1, turn, and work 22 single crochet all the way across. And we just have one row of that. Okay, now we're going to chain 1, turn, and work 22 single crochet across. Remember, you can always follow along with the pattern online. Highly recommend doing that. Go print it off of Modern Homemakers, and that way anything that looks confusing, since I'm editing a lot here, that'll help that process out. 22, we're going to chain 1 and turn. We're going to skip that first space and work 19 single crochet across. And then we're going to skip 1 and do 1 single crochet at the end. So skip 1, 19 single crochet, skip 1, 1 single crochet. Okay, we did our row. Next row we're going to chain 1, and we're going to work starting in that first space. Don't skip it. We're going to do 20 single crochet across. In this next row, we're going to chain 1, turn, skip the first space, work 17 single crochet across, skip 1 and put 1 single crochet after that. For the next row, chain 1, turn, skip the first space and work 15 single crochet across. After you do those 15 single crochet, you're going to skip 1 and do 1 last single crochet at the end. We're almost done. Okay, this here's the last row. We're going to chain 1, turn, skip 1, work 13 single crochet across, skip 1 and do 1 at the end. So skip 1, 13 single crochet, skip 1, 1 single crochet, and that's the last row. Cut it off, tie it, hide your thread, and make another one just like it. That's right, we need 2 of these brim pieces. If you haven't done so already, go over to Modern Homemakers and print off the free hat brim pattern. In addition to the crochet pattern, you want that too. And you're going to trace that. I used a cereal box. Don't want it too bulky. I did some with like a thicker cardboard and I just wasn't wowed with how it looked. So you're going to cut that out, trace it onto cardboard, and we'll be back in a second. Now that we've got that all cut out, it's a little moon. We're going to take duct tape. It does not have to be the same color duct tape as your project. I had pink, so I'm going for it. I made a red hat, and I used multicolor polka dot duct tape, and you still couldn't really see it, so your stitches should hide a lot of it. This is not an exact science. What you're going to be doing is, you might want to start with a corner over here. You're basically helping your hat brim, so if it gets rained on and such, it's not going to just totally disintegrate, because it is just a little piece of cardboard. This is not strong stuff. So I did that. Try not to get too many layers of the stuff. Like, I'm going to go ahead and tear that. Got just the tip there. You can see it's not perfect on the other side. We're just going to smooth down those bubbles. Get this other corner, and I'm just going to keep working across until everything is covered. If you get anything that's really bulky and you don't like it, you can just cut it. You can see that's not perfect, and you know, the crochet is stretchy, so it should allow for some error. And I'll come back in a minute when that's done. I've cut a long piece of yarn here, and I've lined up my pieces. You can pin them if you want, but we're basically going to use the crochet hook. And I did not hide my threads yet. Hopefully that doesn't make things too confusing. Anyway, we're going to take that through and tie these 2 pieces together. Now when you're sewing the sides, don't sew the bottom, which is the widest section, because that is what we're going to slip the brim into. So just simply go back and forth, put the crochet hook through, pull your tail through, and then bring that back over, and do the same thing again all the way across. Don't worry about being perfectly spaced with your stitches. It should all work out, hopefully. I'll come back when I've gone all the way around. Okay, I went all the way around. We've still got this open, and once again, you could already have these threads hidden, but I'm just leaving all mine for the end. We're going to take this and squeeze it in. It's hard to do in front of the camera. And once you get it centered, what you're going to do is come back over to this other side where you were stitching things closed, and we're going to continue sewing it shut in the bottom section. So it may pop out as you're working, but you just keep putting it back in. So as you can see a little bit of the undercolor, but I don't think it detracts from the look of the hat. But if you're worried about that, pick a color that you can find duct tape in. Exactly. This is hard to do when it's not sitting on the table. Okay. So you see what I'm doing? We're going to go all the way across, and when it pokes out as you're stitching, you just kind of keep working it back down. Ta-da! So it's completely enclosed. You can see it has the tendency to kind of want to poke out the edges a little, which is why we've got to be really careful in our next step. You might want to look on your hat. I can just tell. I'm just a little anal retentive, and I can tell that's where my center back is. So I am going to make sure that's in the back and line my hat up with the front. And what you need to do is make sure that the brim section, the brim is hidden by the bottom of your hat. You don't want to see where this connects. And we're going to do the same process where we go in and treat the crochet hook like a needle. Really, if you want to, you could go grab a needle at this point, but it doesn't matter. And we're just going to go back and forth. Just make sure the stitches don't look weird, and keep the top portion of the hat on top of the brim at the same point as you're working your way across. Okay, I will come back in a few minutes, but we're getting that on there. Okay, got it all stitched on. And as one last final step, you don't have to do this. You can see I haven't done it over here, and you can see that poking out, and it's probably going to show from the front, but if you have a matching duct tape color, like if you did black or white, you probably won't care. Mine isn't matching, so I have reinforced, if you see over here, so that's less likely to happen. And if it does happen, just keep tucking it back in. But to make that less likely to happen, we are going to reinforce this side over here. So we're just going to keep just kind of sewing it to the point where this covers from the top, and it's almost like we're making an extra little pocket of fabric to keep that end from poking through. So we're just going to work back and forth a bunch of times. Over here, then back on this side. It is not an exact science. I am just merely getting my thread caught in there is what I'm doing. Merely just going back. I gotta go again. People who didn't hide their tails like me, they're in the way. Alright. It's really frayed on the end there. There we go. This back and forth, almost like creating an extra fabric pouch over that. Try not to pull anything too tight where it messes up your stitches, because that wouldn't be cool. Yep, starting to get invisible. Anyway, this is pretty tedious, but when you're done, you know, it's just more reinforced on that spot. And of course, when you get this totally done, you want to kind of, don't bend it totally in half, but you do want to shape your brim a little. And let's go see what this looks like on our model. Oh, and all your threads that you're hiding. If you put them on top, you stand a chance of seeing them. So like these ones on the end here, I saved these for last, so I can come in, and when I hide them, they're on the bottom side of the brim. It's kind of an extra protection against being noticed. And when you get to the end of them, split them open, fuzz the tips. Might be able to go hide one more direction here, and then you don't even see them.